Welcome to the hottest movie review on the internet today, the A-List Review. I'm your host, the Game Changer, Wes Troop. And this week I've got 4 big movies to review. Well, 3 in 1. So, check this out. This week that came out wide release in theaters, we had The Martian starring Matt Damon, Sicario starring Emily Blunt, and coming back into theaters for a re-release for a special limited engagement was The Iron Giant. And this week's random review, because it is the month of October, we're going in a horror theme. So for the next few weeks, it's going to be all horror random reviews, so it won't be that random. Yeah, this one was interesting to say the least. Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, aka Halloween 6. So, get ready, get set, because we're going to kick this week's show off with the new sci-fi drama. This is The Martian. During a manned mission to Mars, a team of astronauts get caught in the middle of a storm. One of the astronauts, Mark Watney, is hit with a piece of debris and is presumed dead when lost in the storm. After the rest of the team travels back to Earth, Mark is revealed to be very much alive. In order to survive, he must try to make food, water, protect the bunker, and try to make contact with NASA so they can save him. So what did I think of The Martian? I thought it's an excellent adventure drama. This is a film that really packs in anything you could ask for in this type of movie. The visuals on Mars look beautiful and really light up the screen. Of course, there are some dramatic scenes dealing with what the outcome could be for Watney, but it also ended up being a lot funnier than I expected, including laugh-out-loud moments. The ending is very tense as well, and had me on the edge of my seat, literally. There's obviously a lot of scenes concentrating on Mark and him trying to survive on the planet. He talks into a computer log, which acts as a tool to explaining to the audience what he's doing. It's a relief that you don't have to be a genius to follow what's going on or understand the scientific terms. We also see a lot of what's going on back on Earth as they decide what should be done to help Watney, and also aboard the spacecraft the rest of the team is traveling on. The cast is spectacular, starring Matt Damon as Mark Watney, the botanist who's left behind on Mars and has to survive until NASA can reach him. Damon definitely carries all of his scenes alone with ease. The rest of the cast includes Jessica Chastain as Melissa Lewis, the commander of the mission who wants to return to Mars when she finds out her teammate is alive, Jeff Daniels as Teddy Sanders, the director of NASA who has to make all the tough calls, Kristen Wiig as Annie Montrose, NASA's PR person, Chiwetel Ejiofor as Vincent Kapoor, the man who was in charge of the entire Mars mission, and Michael Pena, Kate Mara, and Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier himself, as some of the other crew members. The Martian is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time and will hopefully get some love this award season. I'm going to give it the rating of A-List approved. It gets the A-List seal of approval. One of my favorite movies so far this year. I would definitely think it's going to be in the top 10 come the end of this year. Probably the best movie I've seen so far this year. So if you haven't seen The Martian yet, all I'm going to say, go out and see it. Alright, and this next movie came out a few weeks ago in limited release. I was excited to check it out as it went into wide release this week and actually showed near me for... I'm surprised they even got it in at this crappy theater here where I moved to. So, this has been getting a lot of buzz the last few weeks that it's been out. It stars Emily Blunt, Josh Brolin, and Benicio del Toro. This is Sicario. After a drug raid in Arizona, the FBI finds a slew of dead bodies in the walls of a drug house. An agent partners up with a defense advisor and his team as well as a hitman with a shady past to find the people responsible for the crimes. The trip takes them to Mexico, where they plan to extract one of the cartel's top men to try and gain information about their target. So what did I think of Sicario? I thought it's a satisfactory action drama. I'll come right out and say it that I did not love this movie as much as many others who have been shouting its praises all over the place. Now, the film is really split into two separate movies throughout. One a political drug drama, the other a revenge flick. While both storylines are interesting, I'm not exactly sure they mesh together as well as they should. By the time the finale comes, it's almost like someone switched the movies in the projector. There are some very intense moments in this film, from a shootout in the middle of a traffic jam to a nighttime raid we see through night vision, which reminded me of Zero Dark 30. Shout out to my girl Jessica Chastain again. This is also a very dark film with no signs of hope anywhere to be seen. There are a few haunting visuals, most notably decapitated bodies hanging by their feet in the middle of the streets of Mexico. Glorious, aren't they? Nothing says happy trails like that. One of my problems with the film, however, is that it drags in the middle with quite a few things I felt that weren't needed, almost on the verge of being boring in the middle section. I know, what are you gonna do? Good performances from the cast, including Emily Blunt as Kate Macer, an FBI agent who wants to bring down a drug Cartel, Benicio del Toro as Alejandro. Alejandro. Oh, I love it when they have those names. Alejandro Gillick, an assassin on the team who was out for revenge, Josh Brolin as Matt Graver, a Department of Defense advisor who takes the team to Mexico, and John Bernthal as Ted, one of the members of the cartel. While I may not have thought Sicario lived up to its buzz, I'd still recommend it for a watch. I'm going to give it the rating of do it. Yes, there's a lot of people that say this is one of the best movies of the year. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't put it on my list. Like I said, there were things I did like about it, but some of it I just felt was a little too almost boring. All right, and coming back into theaters for a special Fathom Events re-release is the 1999 animated film, which is a pretty, it's got a pretty good track record to it. A lot of people like this movie. Obviously, they brought it back for a reason. So, here's my review of The Iron Giant. In 1957's Maine, a young boy finds a giant robot in the forest who has crash-landed on Earth. The boy and the giant begin to develop a friendship, and he tries to hide his new friend away from the public as a government agent comes to town after reports of odd activity have been filed. So what did I think of The Iron Giant? I thought it's a marvelous animated film. It's weird to me that it almost felt odd to see the hand-drawn animation again after all the computer-rated generated animation that's been hitting theaters hard for the last few years and is eye-popping. There is a nice sense of humor to the film, as well as heart to the friendship between the boy and the giant. It's also important when creating a character like the Iron Giant that the audience feels for him, and I think that is definitely the case here. At times he's misunderstood as he reacts defensively to violence. The story does sound familiar and take some ideas that reminded me of E.T., but I feel it's different enough to stand on its own. The voice cast does do great work and includes Eli Marienthal as Hogarth Hughes, the curious boy who finds a new friend in the robot, Vin Diesel as the Iron Giant himself, the 50-foot metal-eating robot who finds himself alone on Earth, Jennifer Aniston as Annie, Hogarth's mom, who doesn't believe him at first about his new friend, Christopher McDonald as Kent Mansley, a government agent obsessed with finding information about the sightings of a creature in the town, and Harry Connick Jr. as Dean McCoppin, a friend of Hogarth's and owner of a junkyard where they hide the giant. The Iron Giant is an underrated film that the whole family can easily enjoy. I'm going to give it the rating of A-list approved. Yes, 2 in 1 episode. That's almost, well, I thought it was going to be 3, but only 2. So, A-list approved for The Iron Giant. If you haven't seen it, check it out in the theaters. Look and see if it's playing at a theater near you. If not, then definitely put it on your Netflix queue. Definitely worth checking out, in my opinion. And finally, yeah, those were 3 good positive reviews. There had to be a bad one somewhere, right? We couldn't have an all-positive week like we did back in June, where almost everything was positive. No. We had to throw this one in there. Halloween is one of my favorite horror movies, the original Halloween. Now, let's see if they can keep that. You know they won't. With Halloween 6, this is Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. After being presumed dead, of course, Michael Myers is on the hunt for the baby of his niece after it goes missing. It takes the killer back to his old hometown where the Strode family is living in his house and a face from the past is always watching. Monsters, Inc. reference. In case he returns. So what did I think of Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers? I thought it's an atrocious horror sequel. Around part 5 is where the series gets really weird and jumps the proverbial shark. It focuses on an unknown man in black, no, not Johnny Cash, with cowboy boots and a cult, which are supposed to be behind Michael's killings. The only thing this storyline does is cheapen an iconic horror character and makes him an afterthought. There are a couple of okay kills, but nothing that hasn't been seen before, and there's barely anything scary or creepy about the film at all. It also is filled with bad acting, annoying sound effects, and features chases to electric guitar riffs. You know, because that really fits well when you're being chased by a murderer. It also, this all ended with a typical showdown, which actually becomes laughable and ridiculous. The cast stars Donald Pleasance, reprising his role one final time as Dr. Sam Loomis, one of the only good things we get out of this film, who comes out of retirement when he hears Michael is once again still alive. Paul Rudd, a young Paul Rudd, in one of his first roles, as Tommy Doyle, a survivor of Michael's original attack who finds the baby of the killer's niece in a bus station. Mary Ann Hagen as Kara, the daughter of the Strodes who lives in Michael's old house. Devin Gardner as Danny, Kara's son, who begins hearing voices at night. Mitchell Ryan as Wynn, the leader of the cult who supposedly possessed Michael, and George P. Wilbur as Michael Myers, the killer himself, who's back to cause more devastation. Oh, yippee. Well, the original Halloween is my favorite horror film. Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers finds itself at the complete opposite side of the spectrum as one of the worst. I'm going to give this the rating of, hey, Halloween, Curse of Michael Myers, I got 2 words for ya. Suck it. Yeah, this is... I thought Halloween 5 was the worst until I saw this one, and now I'm sure this one's the worst. I do not like the way they went with it about a cult and all this crap. It's not good. They should have just stopped at number 4 or just one. Well, no. Technically, I like Halloween H2O a lot better than 4. So if you would have went 1, 2, 4, H2O, I would have been good. But no, they gotta drag us back into it for no good reason. But so if you see this anywhere, just avoid it at all costs and just watch the original Halloween instead. Alright, well that's all the time for this week. I'll be back next week and we're gonna say holy putty with my review of Pan as well as The Walk and whatever else may pop up. I'm not sure if we're gonna get Steve Jobs' movie here or not. So we'll just have to see what happens, right? And maybe I'll finally get to watch The Green Inferno if that pops up anywhere. We'll see. But until next time, don't forget to subscribe right here on YouTube, youtube.com/westside515. You can like my Facebook page, facebook.com/westtruebaylist. Follow me on the Twitter and the Instagram at Wes A-List. And of course, you can buy my book, The A-List Review 2014 Movie Review Yearbook. Only $10, over 150 reviews. Contact me through Facebook or Twitter if you're interested. And of course, 2015 edition is coming in 3 months, so look out for that. Until next time, Troop out.